You are looking at consensus 2022 overall number one prospect, the pride of Ann Arbor. Yet he's going to a little town in East Lansing out of Lincoln High School. Emoni Bates, 6'9", 205. Just take a look here for a minute. This kid is absurd. Well, we've got big news, as we heard a couple days ago, out of East Lansing, and now we've got even bigger news because we've got Lawton Lunce. We've got the maestro. Lawton, you look while Lunce is on here. I don't know where my camera just went. Why is my camera gone? That's not true. My camera was not unplugged. But hold on a second here. There we go. Lawton, you're our Spartan insider. You're my former broadcast partner. You're an incredible human being. This kid's from Ann Arbor. And we're going to get into this whole, is he going to play? Was it a recruiting stint? Was it any of that kind of stuff when it comes to Emoni Bates in just a minute here? But I'll tell you this, that's a prospect. And as you being the great Spartan insider, nonsense whiz, whatever you want to say. First, welcome to the Task Force Special Edition. Special Edition broadcasting live. We got my boy Lawton Lunce, but we figured this was a great night to do this. The news out a couple days ago of Emoni Bates committing to Michigan State for 2022. There's not a lot of sports going on right now, so we thought we'd have some fun with this. By the way, Lawton, you look like John Oliver, and you picked the white void as your background behind you. I like it.
Keeping things simple, very simple, you know.
Well, you don't have the space coat. You don't have the Barry Sanders jersey. You don't have the Barry 2020 Barry Sanders, not Bernie Sanders shirt in the background. But you look amazing. And we're going to be joined in just a bit by Detroit Mercy, DJ, Entertainment MC, Keith Jason, the man with two first names. He actually, and Lawton, he's called, or he's PA'd at some point, games that included Emoni Bates in it.
That's correct. Yeah, he PAs sometimes for the IPSC Community League, more so at Detroit Mercy, and he does some sports at U of M as well. Pretty well-rounded MC and PA, and overall, as you would say, good human being.
Yes. So let's talk about this. And if people have comments, they want to be part of the discussion, like this Facebook user. And I want to explain something. This new StreamYard software, which Lawton, you've been a part of, you helped the 50/50 fundraiser to get it. I've just upgraded because we got some great sponsors. Our good friends at Michigan's finest cannabis company, our good friends at Thomas McGee's Sporting House. I also have a brand new sponsor to welcome next week that is involved with horse racing, which is going to be very exciting. So that's in the works and almost set going forward. But as I upgraded the software Lawton, you know that we stream live to YouTube and Facebook, and we're going to start streaming live to Twitter as well. Just so people know, on the task force, brand new, and I want to thank everyone. We almost have 500 people. I just started that Facebook page for our show, and Lawton, you're a big part of the task force. If you're streaming it from one of those pages, not my personal Facebook page, it won't show your name and picture unless you go on Facebook and allow StreamYard to do so under your settings. So I want people to know I'm not like blocking their names or their faces. That's not up to me. If you really want your picture and your name to be shown, go on Facebook, accept StreamYard under the settings. You know, you have to allow apps. Do that and you're in. But join the discussion. We love it. But let's talk about this. Our good friend of the show, and actually the official clothier of the task force, the Detroit line, their CEO and marketing manager, Paul Savage, he says, Swizzle Sticks, no way he steps on the campus as a Spartan. This is a ploy to help boost recruiting. He got paid to declare. Now, I don't think he got paid to declare. I'm not going conspiracy theory, but you're pretty wired into the Spartan program. You are someone that knows about what's going on up in East Lansing. You were Plaxico Burrs' roommate before he shot himself in the foot. Do you think this is a recruiting ploy? Is he going to play a second on the court for Michigan State? Because I put a poll up on my Twitter at DailyShiny71 2 days ago when the news came out, and I think it's 65% so far, over 1,000 votes, believe he will never play a second for Michigan State.
I just don't think Tom Izzo is the type of coach that would allow something like that to go on. He's not a guy that's going to posture to get recruits. I mean, here's a guy who's coached up the 3 and 4 stars. I was more excited that he got Emoni Bates to commit, because for Tom Izzo, like, he never gets these guys. Emoni Bates is supposed to go to Kentucky or Duke or Kansas or Arizona. Or
Michigan.
I'm sorry?
Or Michigan. He's from Ann Arbor.
True. That's hey, we'll take him. He's good at everything, and he's 16 years old. He's amazing to watch. His games are highlight films, and it's a very exciting time in East Lansing. I believe he will at least play one season.
All right, Alan Silver makes a comment here that I was going to ask you before he even commented, and he says Izzo going for another title. All right, so let's say Bates, who's by the way 16. This is 2022. We have no idea what's going to happen with Cal. We're going to get into this in a little bit here on this Task Force Special Edition. As far as is hoops going to happen this fall? Will 2020 become 2021? 2021 become 2022? We'll get to that in a minute here. But is this the guy, as we've heard for years now? It's going to be Jared Jackson Jr. It's going to be Miles Bridges over troubled water. It's going to be Cash, which obviously he got ripped of the ability. And I mean, not I want to say it fairly, but he got, just a terrible situation with the pandemic to not be able to have a chance to win the title, which they could have. But will Bates be the guy that gets Izzo that much? I guess to say needed would be unfair. At least coveted is fair. But to me, to be on the list with the Krzyzewskis, which unfortunately will never be on that pedestal, but to be in the same breath as the Calhouns and the Krzyzewskis and the Roy Williams, guys that have the multiple titles, he's got to get the multiple titles. Will Bates be that guy if he plays even for 1 year?
First thing I said when they got him, I said he now has that chance, and Bates is going to give him that chance. Really, it's just the other end of the wood. I mean, you've got everything else. You're a Hall of Fame coach. You have multiple trips to the Final Four, multiple trips to the championship. You do have at least one title. That second one, I think that's all that's really motivating Izzo at this point. Now he's got his guy that can help him do it.
Yeah, well, let's take a look a little more at Emoni Bates, who, I mean, this guy is just look. Okay, he's 16, Lawton. The guy is 16. He looks like a pro already. I mentioned earlier that he's 6'9", 205. He's 16. When I was 16, I had been 3 years removed from my bar mitzvah. I was rollerblading at Forest Elementary. I was skateboarding at night. I was building 3 and 4 bike limos, tying ropes to our bikes with my neighbors, Stephen Gill, Mike Rosner, Ben Redmond, Jeremy Cott. I wasn't doing what this kid is doing. It's nuts.
It's insane. It's great. It's great to watch him. No, the highlight videos don't really do him justice. You have to watch his game. The highlight videos show a lot of dunks and a lot of layups, but his mid-range game is solid. He's a great passer, and he can shoot the 3. He can do everything NBA ready at 16. Impressive.
And I look at that Facebook user's comment. I think it's a great comment. He said he believes in loyalty. He's definitely talked about that. By the way, that game was in Eastern Michigan, on my alma mater. Based on that statement, don't you think he'll play at least a year? Lawton, you say yes. I'm on the fence. I don't think that he won't if things go normally. But what if they push college basketball back because of the pandemic? What if 2020 becomes 2021 and so forth, and then the one and done rule's gone? He can go right to the G League now, which I don't think he will. But if things go normally and they play a regular college basketball season this year, Lawton, I think he will play. If it doesn't hold everything back. If things get pushed forward, I mean, we're talking a couple years from now. If they change the rules, Lawton, I would say it's 50-50 right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's safe to say he's going to play somewhere. He may have to make that decision like Michael Jordan did in '94 when he was playing baseball. The lockout was looming, and he said, hey, I'm going to go back to basketball. Emoni might just have to say, hey, if we're not going to play here, I got to play overseas. I got to be NBA ready. Or he may have the D-League option if the NBA continues to go.
All right, well, let's bring in special guest number 2, Detroit Arena MC, the man with 2 first names, Keith Jason. See, I used to PA Keith back in my Brewster Academy days in beautiful Winnipesaukee, New Hampshire, Lake Winnipesaukee. But you've got the sweet dulcet tone, so I defer to you. Will I get a passing grade on my intro here?
Absolutely. That was great. It's always good to hear your name done like that. So thank you so much for having me on. Appreciate it.
No, thanks so much for coming on with us. And listen, you've gotten a chance. We're going to get to the Detroit Mercy, kind of college basketball scene right now, which is a little messed up for many reasons in a second. But you've had a chance to PA games with Emoni Bates in them. What was that experience like? Because I don't think a lot of people, I'm sure a lot of people have in general, but a lot of people watching this show, I don't think have seen him live in person. He's a 16-year-old high school kid. What was it like seeing him up close and personal and actually calling his name when he would score a basket?
It's amazing to watch, especially his freshman year. You see a situation where it was hard to even get in a gym just to watch him play because the lines were so long. So what I did last year, so the 18-19 season, I would do games for FC Community, and I came back and did the Grizzlies and the Lincoln. You keep saying he's from Ann Arbor, but he's very, very clear that he's from Ypsilanti. So I just wanted to make that really quickly.
It's really close, Keith. It's really close.
His dad is an Eastern guy. He's from Ypsilanti. He's building this Ypsi Prep Academy thing. Emoni's very clear, like Ypsilanti is where I'm from. He's not like those other guys who will tell you I'm from Detroit when they go to Las Vegas or California or somewhere else like that. He's very clear, I'm from Ypsilanti. So I just want to say that really quickly. But first game I ever got to do with him, there were 2,300 people in Ypsi Community High School's gym. They had to turn another 1,000+ people away. So just to even be in there and watch that felt amazing. Then to be the guy on the mic and get to call all the names felt even better. So seeing that arena, that energy, seeing the way that the community rivalry between Ypsi Community and Lincoln was there and in place, it was a great thing to watch. And then to see the way he turned it on in the third and fourth quarter, because the first 2 quarters he kind of had a slow start. And I'm like, okay, well, when is he gonna pick it up a notch? And oh boy, in that third, fourth quarter time, he picked it up and he hit about 6 or 7 threes to pull Lincoln ahead and win the game as a freshman. And you're watching the kid like, how do you get better than this? And he's only a freshman in high school.
It's nuts.
It's 16. Insane.
By the way, Keith, I got to tell you, Keith P. Jason, I love your setup. I don't know about the Bears towel. I like the Lions football, but I like the whiteboard behind you. Are you drawing up plays in between shows? Are you doing mathematical formulas? Are you like a Sheldon Big Bang guy? What's going on? Are you running flags? Flags, the flag show back there?
No, I'm a firm believer in mapping ideas out so that you have the opportunity to then hand it off and have other people help you with it. So I have a whiteboard with me at all times so that I can map out any ideas that I have for shows, concepts, other things like that. What's going on behind me now is my kids want to do a podcast about sports and about the video games they play.
Oh, that's
so
great.
If I were to angle the camera up, you would see what they're trying to design back here. They're all about Fortnite, Madden, and all that.
I've always liked Keith a lot, but I love him even more now. The guy's a man after my heart. It's always about having ideas and being able to write those down. Let me ask you the same thing I just asked Lawton, Keith. We got a long way to go. It's 2020. And by the way, there was this great meme that I shared earlier. It's on my Twitter at DanLeach971. It's an old NBC Sunday Night Football graphic that had the score 42-0. And it says in 2020, 42, Earth 0. So we know it's a crazy year. But when you look at the future of Bates in East Lansing with Tom Izzo at Michigan State, do you think he's going to play? There's so many things that could happen between now and then. But let's say they don't have to push back college basketball immensely. At least they get a regular season in coming up in the fall or some semblance of a regular season and tournament next season. If 2022 comes around and things aren't pushed back incredibly crazily, do you believe he's going to set foot in East Lansing and play at least for a year?
Well, I think it's not out of the question to see him play. talent-wise, I don't see where he necessarily needs to go and play a year in college. I think he's ready to go. I won't say right now. He's still got some stuff that he needs to work on, but I think that he will likely not play in college. But I could see where it might happen with all the pandemic and everything else that's going on.
Right. And Lawton, as we talked about, I mean, that's the thing. It's like there's so many intangibles and moving parts. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I've said this for a long time. People that watch the Task Force know this. Believe me, we want sports more than anything right now, but I don't see team sports happening this year. I just don't. And maybe baseball tries to get going, or hockey and football. I would love it. I mean, Dr. Fauci said earlier today to Congress, 100,000, people a day could be getting coronavirus. I hope that obviously doesn't happen. I just don't see that now. But obviously that's one part of it. The other part of it is college basketball in general, and this supposed one and done rule being over in the next couple of years, and guys being able to go to the pros. I know they can go to the G League right now. When you look at a guy like Bates, like when Keith just made some great points, of course the kid's got a little work on. He's 16, but would it make sense for him to go to college? And I know we had the comment earlier from the Facebook user that said he is a loyalty guy, and doesn't that make you think he'll play at least a year? But if he turns 17 and 18 and can be the overall number one pick in the NBA draft and go right to a team and make a ton of money, is it worth it to go to college?
I don't think so. I think he's one of those special players when you know special when you see it. And when you see Emoni play, he's that guy. He's LeBron. He's that Kobe, that guy that can actually go to the league in just a couple of years. I mean, like just what Keith said, my gosh, he's 16 years old. The kid is unbelievable to watch. And just imagine 2 more years of high school. My God, he's going to be something.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, it's one of those things where, we all know what hyperbole is, as our good friend Terry Foster says, hyperbole. But I've seen so many different people, Lawton and Keith, say that the best prospect since LeBron James is Emoni Bates. And I think that when you listen, we all know that there's busts out there. It happens all the time. But in basketball, it rarely does. When you see someone say, Kobe Bryant, was going to be the next whatever, and LeBron James and Durant and other guys, you don't really see consensus, praise for someone as the next LeBron, and it doesn't really work out. I mean, I know Michael Candy and Kwame Brown and some others, they flamed out. And a lot of that was high school stuff that I thought a lot of kids should have gone right from high school. That's a whole other debate. But Keith, when you saw this guy up close and personal, I think he does look like he has a great chance of being the best prospect since LeBron James if he keeps growing into his body.
Absolutely. I mean, when you think about the fact that he's just 16, he's already 6'9". I don't know what he weighs, but when you look at him, you can see just in watching the highlight videos from when he was, since 6th grade, he's been having YouTube videos with millions of views and people watching him, being called the best 6th grader in the country. He's growing into that body. And when he gets that grown man body, the way he's going to be able to play just will not make any sense. I don't see anybody being able to stop him.
Yeah, you just take a look at this as we watch it throughout the show. You just look at this guy. He's 6. It's ridiculous that he's 16. I bet you, Keith, before we brought you on, that I was 3 years removed from my bar mitzvah at 16. I was, rollerblading, playing hockey. I wasn't making moves like an NBA pro. This guy looks like he played college today, and he's only going to get bigger and feel better in his body. And obviously, you knock on wood and you hope there's no injury. That's why, to me, this big question of why would you want to play pro or play college when you are just like LeBron James good and could go right to the NBA. That being said, maybe, Zion Williamson didn't want to leave Duke. By all accounts, he wanted to stay there, and he wanted to play another year because he loved the college experience. So maybe this kid wants to go to East Lansing and see what it's like to be a kid or a college kid, Keith, before it's time to go and make tons of money. I know, cry me a river, and have to live a pro life where it's a different scenario than being on a college campus.
Yeah, the college life is special, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get that offer to go to college for 4 years, especially at a great school like Michigan State. Sure, Michigan pays me now. That's my full-time job. But
Yes.
Michigan State is a great school, and it's a great opportunity to go there and play basketball. I just don't see that once-in-a-lifetime opportunity trumping the once-in-a-generation opportunity of being able to be that guy coming straight out of high school and making this difference. Like you said earlier, there have been a lot of players who have been bust or whose career didn't pan out the way we thought. My mind immediately goes to Sebastian Telfair. There's guys like Corleone Young and Dubu Ibi. All these players who were high draft picks who just didn't pan out coming straight out of high school. So that potential exists, but I think he's going to put in the work to make it happen.
I can't believe I'm putting this comment up for a longtime friend of the show, Nick Damasic. Go green. He's a Pearl Jam fan. That's why I love him. But go green. Listen, I'm a Spartan. I was going to say I'm not a Spartan. I'm not a Spartan liker by any means whatsoever. I'm a Wolverine through and through. And that's why I love you. But I have the utmost respect for Michigan State getting this guy. This guy is the real deal. And for a minute here in this pandemic, I don't have to hate Michigan State. I can show respect, Lawton, to a school and a guy in Tom Izzo that got their man. I know Juwan Howard has gotten some great recruits. I know he's lost some, unfortunately, but this is a crazy time right now. But how can you not give praise and kudos to Izzo for getting this guy? He could have gone to a million different places, and he chose Michigan State. Lawton, I know it makes you pretty damn happy. Sparty slap.
Hey, if there's a guy to do it, to help him get that second ring, he's well aware of what people say about him. It's been asked in many a press conference, and I just think that there's a guy that can help him get it done, and he's got a 1-year chance at it. It's Emoni Bates. So, of course, we're excited in East Lansing. I mean, this is a great time, and I think it's even more exciting because Izzo doesn't typically get these guys. So, Thanks for coming. Can't wait.
All right, Keith, you mentioned your full-time employment is at Michigan. I know you call a lot of different games. What have you been up to? What is the reaction in the Ann Arbor area about Emoni Bates committing to Michigan State? What's the latest from your angle in Ann Arbor land?
Well, my major job over the summer has been working on figuring out how to take orientation from a face-to-face format to an online format, because
that's the
nature of my work. Not easy at all. We've got a 300+ student program that is normally 7 weeks in person that we do with the Summer Bridge program that we're trying to figure out how to make happen online right now. That kicks off tomorrow. So we've got a good plan in place, looking forward to implementing it. But the reaction to Emoni, I think that when Juwan Howard came in, a lot of people really thought that a lot of the players were just going to come and be here with us in Michigan. And he's getting players. He's getting great recruiting classes. Even with the players that were lost in this class, it's still been great to see the talent that he's been able to bring in. And I'm excited to see what he's able to do with this group of players this year.
Yeah, and I think you look at it like this, Keith. It is a crazy year, and obviously, as I mentioned, Juwan comes in. I know he lost some guys, but you look at Hunter Dickinson, who is a 4 or 5-star player, 7'2", 255. Zeb Jackson, Terrence Williams. The question is, and Keith and Lawton knows this on the state side, Izzo has been able to get the 4 and 5 stars at times. John Beilein could not. John Beilein would get guys like Trey Burke that at one point were ranked lower than my boy Carlton Brundage, who I love. And obviously we know that Trey Burke ended up going to the pros. Carlton was at one point ranked higher and was at Michigan for a minute. But it's about can Juwan Howard get those 4 and 5 stars, the AAU connections that Beilein couldn't, but keep them at a high level and get them better. Because John Beilein could take like the Mark D'Antonio of college hoops. He could take those 2 and 3-star guys, the non-5-star, absolute blue chip guys, and mold them into incredible players. And, you look at a guy like Howard who's going to get the 5 stars. Can he keep them at that level and get them? Because, another example is Izzo, as Spartan fans well know, Jared Jackson Jr. was garbage when it comes to what he could have been. Do you think, Keith, that Juwan will get the guys and be able to keep them at that high level? That's the biggest question to me.
Yeah, I think Juwan will definitely be able to get the guys. I mean, you look at what they're doing already and just the level of the recruiting class. Again, even with the players who were said to have been coming, who made decisions to go elsewhere, this recruiting class is still stronger than most of what we've seen in other years. So I think he's definitely going to get the guys. I think he'll develop the talent. And you don't come to the table with the network that a guy like Juwan Howard has, with the name and the reputation that a guy like Juwan Howard has, and not be able to make those kinds of things happen. I think it's just a matter of time before you see multiple 4 or 5-star guys coming into the Michigan program.
Well, Stan, all right, a couple things before we get going here. I appreciate both you guys. Keith, we'll have to do this more often. I thought I had a good voice. Keith's voice kind of puts me in the sweet spot of greatness where I just want to listen to it all day. He's like Robert Goulet. And Lawton, he knows this because he's called games with me, so it's high praise. Yeah. I promised I would do this for Mr. Lunce because he loves Cam Newton. He's a big Cam Newton guy. Actually, he was poster above your bed. But I did want to quickly ask both you guys, Cam Newton, the Patriot, is he going to win there? Is it absurd he had to sign for the league minimum plus bonuses? What happens to Cam Newton in New England? Take it over for Brady, Lunce.
It's a lot to unpack, buddy, but I'll try. I think it's no surprise the Patriots gave him less market value. I mean, when have they done that ever before, right? So the incentive-laden contract and, hey, his agent negotiated it for him. I can see where both sides, I can see from a business standpoint, hey, we're going to give him this much. And I can also see from his agent standpoint and say, listen, we'll make it incentive-laden because he's worth it. Will he win in New England? I don't think so. Unless Belichick devises an offense that will allow him to be Cam Newton. So we'll see.
All right, well, let's just hope that we don't see any of this because, boy, was this absurd if everyone remembers how great this guy was and then this nonsense after Super Bowl 50. Probably maybe the worst press conference I've ever seen. I mean, by anybody at a high level. I think, what was he there for a minute? Then he walked away? Terrible. Keith, what do you think? Success for Cam Newton in New England? Is the pressure going to be too much as the game passed by? With the kid, he's still young. He still can run and throw at a very, very high level. But will he have success taking over for the greatest quarterback ever?
Cam is 31 years old, I believe.
Yeah.
And so he's still got, in theory, he's still got a lot of football ahead of him. I think if he's healthy, he wins in New England. And I think that because you look at what a guy like Josh McDaniels was able to do with athletic quarterbacks in the past. You look at what he was able to do with Tim Tebow. You look at what he was able to do with, anybody really that he's been given. He's been able to design an offense that works for them. So I think McDaniels will figure it out. I think they'll find ways to win. And I think, a lot of people are going to look at that team and say, well, the talent at wide receiver is not really there. Well, it was never really there in Carolina, and Cam still found a way to win games. So I think we'll see victories. I don't know if we'll see Super Bowls, but it wouldn't surprise me if they are a perennial playoff team and get 1 or 2 wins in those playoffs with Cam at the quarterback.
Hopefully we don't see any ridiculous press conferences like this that were just heart-wrenching to watch because I know Cam knows how embarrassing that was for him. And I've covered Super Bowls. I was there after Brady lost his first ever Super Bowl with a mic right in his face. And obviously Tom Brady, one of the classiest guys you'll ever meet. But I know it's tough. Brady never lost before in a Super Bowl. This was Cam's first chance, and they just got destroyed by that Denver team with a lot of really good defensive talent. But the Panthers should have been in that game, and it was over from the beginning. Were they the best offense in the NFL that year? And they just couldn't do a thing in the Super Bowl against that Broncos team. I believe they were ranked number 1, if I'm not mistaken. Let's do this too. I got to throw this to Lawton first, and then we'll throw it to you, Keith. Very, very tough situation to see Cassius Winston, who obviously Emoni Bates would love to get there and win the title, and Cassius couldn't get his second title, but without having a chance to play in an NCAA tournament. We have no idea what would have happened. I think we all kind of knew it was coming when they shut down the NBA and shut down the NHL, and you just knew things were coming. We thought they were going to try to play the tournament. They weren't able to. Would Michigan State and Cassius Winston have won? I know it's tough to say yes or no, but what do you think? Honestly, would they have won the title? Because they were really, really good.
I think they had a really good chance at the Final Four. The title, it would have been a tough sell, but I just felt like they had the momentum going in, and it's unfortunate. But more importantly, Keith Jason just dropped the Tim Tebow reference. I mean, how awesome was that? It just kind of shows up in our shows all the time.
Well, it was awesome. This was my I can't stand Tebow. He sucks. I also lost a dinner bet to Lawton. We had a 5-year playoff bet. And, of course, there was no chance Tebow would ever even get to the playoffs, yet alone win a playoff game. In the first year of the 5-year bet, I owe this guy a Jay Alexander's dinner. But this was my beautiful birthday present. He got me the Tim Tebow Believe shirt. So, I mean, I got to thank the Lunce there for that one. Keith, do you think the Spartans with Cash would have won? I mean, I know it's an impossible question, but I'll tell you the truth. I was filling my bracket out just in the hope that they would play the tournament. I normally have 1 or 2 or 3 brackets, depends on the year, but I always have one official one. And I was filling my official bracket out that I always post online. And I literally had Michigan State winning the title. I really did. And for me, you can't just, obviously, I'm a broadcaster. You can't pick with your heart. You got to pick with your head. Maybe for a fun bracket, you pick with your heart. But for the real one, I was going to pick the Spartans. Would they have won it? Would they have won it with Cash?
Yeah, I don't know that they would have won it. Actually, I'll just go ahead and say no. I don't think they would have won it. Although this would have been the year for them to do it. I think this last year in college basketball, there was no clear number one. It was not like there was one dominant team who just ran through the whole season. But I think this would have been their best opportunity. But the track record that Michigan State has had over the last, when did they last win? 2000?
2000.
So over the last
20 years ago.
Over the last 20 years, they've gotten close, but they just haven't been able to get over that hump. And I don't know that this squad would have been deep enough to get them over that hump.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, guys. I really wanted Dayton was my original pick, and who knows, I might have flip-flopped back to Dayton if they had the tournament. But I want Obi Toppin to be a Piston. That was who I was going to pick. But I mean, that State team, and you're right, Keith. There's been, and I mentioned the Jared Jackson Jr. I was at that game at the LCA when they ridiculously lost to Syracuse in a game they never should have, and how wasted Jared Jackson Jr.'s career had been when this guy's a lottery pick playing pretty good basketball in the NBA. There's been all these years that State should have. The Middle Tennessee year they should have. At least been to the precipice of the Final Four. So there's no way to say you can feel great about it, but boy, that team was getting hot at the right time. They probably, I think Lawton, they would have won the Big Ten tournament. They could have been a 2 seed. They could have been a 1 seed. I mean, I think 2 was the highest they could have gotten, right? But I'm forgetting. It was so long ago. It feels like it was 3 years ago when they shut the tournament down. It does. Yeah. Keith Jason, the man with 2 first names, I love him. He's absolutely right. Because how can you rely on Michigan State to win? They have not done it in 20 years with many teams that had a great chance to do so.
Yeah, I mean, the beautiful thing about Izzo's career is that he's got the longevity, right? So he's got a track record. The other thing about it, though, or the negative of that, is that he's got a legacy of having teams that a lot of folks said should have gotten it done that didn't get it done. And so I think that's the biggest thing for him to kind of get past at this point in his career, like Lawton was saying earlier, that to get that second title is what's really going to put him in the upper echelon of coaches in the history of college basketball.
It's a great statement. I mean, that is so Michigan State basketball. The teams that are expected to go to the Final Four and win it all just seem to fall short. But then these teams out of nowhere get in the tournament and they get on a roll. And we've seen that time and time again. So
Lawton, I'll let you take this one from a Facebook user. What about Johnny Wright? I know the Spartans offered him a scholarship the other day. Could Izzo be building one of the great recruiting classes ever in the history of basketball?
Well, Emoni Bates is certainly going to help, if that's the case. So, again, I think there's a lot of variables going forward with COVID and whether we're going to have a season. Keith alluded to that earlier. So we will see. But, yes, I mean, that'd be a nice 1-2 punch.
Oh, yes, it would. All right, before we go, Keith, really appreciate you joining us. We'll definitely do this again. Lunce, my longtime broadcast partner, great friend, Spartan slap, much like a Warrior slap. Keith, you're working very hard on, as you mentioned, that I used to host orientations in high school, so it ain't easy to do it via, remote situation. So kudos to you for working on that. But let everyone know where they can find you on social media, what you're going to be up to, hopefully after the orientation stuff. I know you do a lot of PA work. You're, of course, the Detroit Titans Arena MC. So let everyone know how they can stay in touch with you.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for having me on. This has been great. You can find me on Instagram at 3NAMEZ. So my full name is Keith Paul Jason. So 3 names, NAMEZ, is a really bad play on 2 Chainz. My college student gave me that name. And so 3 names just kind of stuck, and it became my Instagram name. You can find me on Twitter at Keith P. Jason, just like it shows up without the period in the screen here. And I talk about a little some of everything, from sports to higher ed, race relations in the nation, to just whatever comes to mind. We're out there on Twitter.
I'm going to do this. I've never done this. I don't think I've done this live, like literally on the air. But why don't we just do this? There you go. Is that right? Keith P. Jason?
You got it. That's it right there. Thank you.
It's on the fly. It's the least I can do for my guy. All right.
I get to be the first.
Yes. Lawton, let everyone know they can stay in touch with your brilliance. You were also, you know what, I'll bring this out because maybe Towers is watching. So,
okay.
We've been in the same fantasy league for a long time. You've been in it a lot longer than I am. He hates when I bring this out because I beat our friend Matt Towers. Keith, this is what you play for here. This is the UFFL Championship Trophy. You'll see I have the Jew's name on there twice, including last year. But Lawton and I, we go way back for this. This is a coveted thing. This is like getting Emoni Bates to East Lansing.
You'll see the trouble and bass on that trophy at least once. I mean, wow, 2013 Peyton Manning year was special for me, but that was a long time ago.
No, but Lawton, give everyone ways to stay in touch with you. And you've been on the show before. You'll be on again. So will Keith. And I know you're working hard. You got lots of kids running around the house. You got a great wife named Ashley, and you've got a big heart that's green and white, which it just shows you. We're very divisive right now, Keith and Lawton. We got people on one political spectrum, another, fighting back and forth. If Lawton, one of the bigger Spartans I've ever known, and me with amazing blue heart can get along and love each other, then we all can get along. Lawton, go ahead.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Lawton Lunce. It's my first and last name, all one word. LawtonLunce.com for DJ services. I'm still doing that. It's crazy. It's been a crazy year with weddings and parties and whatnot. They're all moving either back to August, September, October, or totally in 2021. So, stay in touch. Say what's up. And I'm the same. I talk about whatever.
Hey, there you go. You got your own little thing, too. LawtonLunce.com.
There it is.
He is a great DJ. All right, well, boys, it was a pleasure. And I do want to do on the way out, we'll do a yes or no on this one before we get going here. We'll start with you, Keith. Do you believe college basketball starts on time this year?
Ooh.
I know it's a tricky one.
Oh, see, if it was football, I'd say no.
That's an easy answer.
Yeah, basketball. No. I'm going to say no.
That's where I'm at, Lawton.
I was going to say January, so no, I don't think it starts on time. I think we're going to start a little bit late, especially if we get this. We're already kind of getting a second wave. Doesn't seem to be as serious in the media as the first one, but it seems to numbers-wise be.
Hey, we haven't stopped the first wave, my friend. The first wave.
Right. You're right.
Yeah, there can't be a second wave when you still have a first wave. So let's, as I always say when I close this show, and I know you guys are behind this, please be safe. Wash your hands. Spread love, not hate. Because people like us that love covering sports for you and calling sports for you, we want to do it again. And there is no chance it happens if we don't slow things down and be safe out there. And that's the most important thing I can tell everyone right now. Keith, any last words for you, my friend?
Just want to say thank you again for the opportunity to come on. This has been a dream to see if this is something that I can actually do and not sound like a complete idiot. So I appreciate the opportunity for me to live out that dream and look forward to maybe getting some more opportunities to do things like this in the future.
Absolutely. I think he sounded good.
Lawton, I'm giving the guy an A. I'm giving him a solid A. Solid A for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Lawton, parting shots?
Parting shots. Hey, man, I'm excited for the green. I'm always a root for the green, but it's a different feeling in East Lansing right now. No, we got a real good guy coming. It's going to be fun to watch and fun to anticipate. So,
all right, well, that's going to do it for this Task Force Special Edition. I can't believe I have to say this. Emoni Bates, a Spartan, but no, listen. Respect to Michigan State. I have a lot of friends from Michigan State. I'm looking at one of them right now. So nothing but the best to them. I'm not rooting against them per se. But for the great Keith P. Jason, for Lawton Lunce, I'm Dan Leach. We'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Task Force. Please continue. It's been overwhelming to see the reaction to our brand new Facebook page. Invite your friends. We'll have great discussions on there. You can see all these shows on there as well. Thank you so much for all the support. We love doing this. It's all about you guys out there because we love you. Until next time, for Lawton and Keith, I'm Dan Leach. Task Force out.